Hello friends, once again I have to apologize for a late assignment. This course has caught me at one of the busiest times in recent memory. I've just, maybe by the end of this week I will be finished finally moving out of my 3-bedroom house and getting rid of everything that I own for the most part and living in this bedroom in um, this recently purchased house by this married couple in our church, and I'll be staying here until I get married. Um, But for my cultural artifact presentation, I wanted to talk about the series finale of Mad Men. Anyone that pays attention to good television knows that Mad Men was an incredible show and it just recently ended. And I kept up with it throughout its entire run, and the finale was just a few weeks ago, and it was incredible. And so I want to talk about the series as a cultural phenomenon and its working theology throughout the series. And if you don't know, it's about a series of ad executives in Manhattan through the 60s. It follows mainly this one guy named Don Draper, who's the quintessential stoic, masculine male of the 60s, with all of his flaws and all of his past and all the ways that he tries to cope with that. And the show itself doesn't really have a plot. More or less, it's just the collision of these characters and their lives and their flaws and their idolatries and how those things bring out the best and the worst and changes in people. I want to talk about 3 key points throughout the series. One at the beginning, one at the middle, and one at the very end. The first one is I think it's the 6th episode of the first season, and the episode's called Babylon, and it's all about each of the characters pursuing their ultimate vision for happiness, be it a person, a job, money, a thing, and by the end they're able to have it for a moment, but by the end they lose it, or it loses its luster, or they have to part ways from it. And the final scene is that Don ends up in this like beatnik underground bar in the 60s, and there's a folk singer on stage who ends up performing a version of that old 60s folk version of Psalm 137, where the Israelites sit down and they say, "We sat by the rivers of Babylon and we wept." And we wept. And there's a beautiful, haunting song that's based on those words. And it's about how everyone is alienated, that everyone is in Babylon, in exile from themselves, and they're just trying to find home again. And at one point, Don sits down with this woman that he's trying to get, and he hasn't had her yet. And she says that in prep school, she says that the Greeks taught them. The school taught them the Greeks had 2 meanings for the word utopia. There was eu-topos, meaning the good place, and u-topos, meaning the place that can never be. And that's the theme of the entire series, is this pursuit of this thing, of this place, this state of mind that people think will be the good place, but it's actually the place that can never be. And at one point, at this one moment where Don is at his lowest and he's really turning philosophical and really becoming introspective, he begins journaling, and there's this voiceover in one of the episodes this quote has always just stuck with me, and I want to share it with you. It says, this is Don speaking and just journaling to himself. It says, "When a man walks into a room, he brings his whole life with him. He has a million reasons for being in that room, being anywhere. Just ask him. If you listen, he'll tell you how he got there, to this place in his life, about how he forgot where he was going, and then he woke up, and he was here. If if you listen, he'll tell you about the time he thought he was an angel and that he dreamt of being perfect. And then he'll smile with wisdom, content that he eventually realized that the world was imperfect. As humans, we're flawed because we want so much more than what we have. But we're ruined because we get those things and we wish for what we had the entire time. And this carries and propels all the characters all the way to the end. And in the moment, after Don is brought to his lowest point, he has lost everything in his life, every support, everything he found his identity in. He's left his job and gone on the search to find himself, and he has not liked what he has found. And he ends up in this communal living situation, a new age spirituality. And let me play the scene for you, and then I'll briefly talk about it. So this is the final scene of Mad Men. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, if you don't care. So, yeah.
Mother, son, we greet you and are thankful for the sweetness of the earth. The new day brings new hope. Lives we've led, the lives we've yet to lead. New day, new ideas, a new you.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing with me. Perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a home and keep it company. It's a real thing. I'd like to teach the world to play harmony. And I'd like to buy the world a coat and keep it company. It's the real thing. What the world wants today is the real thing.
Okay. That was the most famous ad of the 1970s. And it's a Coke ad. And the basic conceit of that final episode is that Don, after having left everything, he experiences transcendence and self-actualization, being able to be where he is without longing for more. And the working theology here is that that's not enough for him. In that moment, he's able to release what we've spent the entire series watching him pursue and not be able to have. And he experiences, as the yogi New Age guy was talking about, new birth, new self. But just that experience is not enough. He has to go back to his work, and he has to turn it into a material, tangible moment. And that's how he communes with everyone else in the world, how he invites them into a similar transcendence and oneness and experience of new birth. It's through this idea of sacrament, of drink, the Coke ad. By offering Coke, he's hoping that that actually acts as a sacrament of communion to bring others together to experience the same transcendence and communion that he has had with himself as well. And so, so that's Mad Men, cultural artifact, working theology. Gone a little bit over, as is my habit, but hopefully you found this enjoyable. Bye.